Hi there, good morning. Welcome to today's midweek market analysis. So as usual, what we're going to do is to start off with the dollar index over here. Okay, so primarily if you're looking at the forward chart, I'm actually expecting a little bit more upside for the dollar. And of course, later, today and going into Thursday, we do have the FOMC meeting coming in, and of course, the expectation right now is for the Fed to stop hiking. But any kind of surprise element, probably we're gonna have a fundamental shift in the dollar, and the volatility can be quite huge. So definitely, you want to take note of that. So from a technical point of view, we're looking at this as a corrective structure, and as long as price is able to be supported above 102.80 to 103, we're kind of expecting a little bit more upside for the dollar. So with that said, if you take a look at the euro, okay, USD, Euro USD, we do have a very nice little structure over here as well. Price seems to start to face a little bit of a resistance around this zone, 1.0810 to 1.0850. So if you can, get a nice decent rejection from here, we're definitely looking at a sell trade opportunity with a target back at 1.0580 to 1.0540. So this is quite aligned with the dollar index chart, where essentially we're looking at dollar strength, okay, and any kind of surprise hike from the Fed may possibly give us that kind of push to the downside, right, for euro dollar over here. Now for GBP USD, quite similar as well. We're kind of starting to see price facing a little bit of resistance around this Fibonacci areas, as well as the top of the channel. Okay, so any form of rejection here, we can start to look for a sell trade opportunity with a target all the way back down at 1.2225. Okay, so same thing here. I think majority of the major pairs quite align in the direction with a potential dollar strength. So of course, you also need to take note of, if in the event the dollar did not strengthen and it went in the other direction, right, the opposite direction, then of course, some of this position here you need to take note of, and we'll probably need to kind of relook at it, right? Because if the dollar weakens, and of course this just push higher, it will rotate into another possible pattern. Okay, so for now we're just looking at this from this angle, expecting the dollar to strengthen. Okay, but of course take note of the upcoming event. Aussie dollar over here is a little bit more slightly different, right? So this one here is a bit more of the expectation where after a significant push, the market tends to do a little bit of a pullback. So Aussie dollar, we're essentially just looking at this. Okay, we're essentially expecting a little bit of pullback. We do have a little bit of a divergence building, okay, as the market continue to push higher, and at one point in time, it's definitely gonna do a correction or a retracement, right? So you might want to keep watch of a potential sell trade, okay, maybe on a lower time frame, according to the strategies and the setups that you may have. Now this pullback here, potentially you can look out for areas around like 6635 to around like 6590. It may not come down so deep, okay, perhaps only towards that 50%, okay, but the idea here is short term, you may look to capitalize on this move. Then on dollar Canadian, we do have a potential reversal trade here happening as well. Now this last drop doesn't look very impulsive, and of course, we have a divergence already in there. So there's a good possibility we're going to start to see some form of a reversal. We do have the bottom of this channel here as well, but of course recently it kind of broke it, but again, it can be just a fake break, and from here we can start to look for buy opportunity back towards 1.3470 to 3510. Now again, this is aligned with the dollar strength, so you want to definitely pay attention to, because if you kind of start taking all of this trade here, you're exposing yourself 4 times in the dollar. Then we have the dollar yen. Okay, so dollar yen here, likely this is going to be a triangle setup. For me, I'm a little bit neutral on this, because there are a couple of possibilities of how this can eventually play out. Of course, right now we're looking at this as a triangle, but what can happen over here is this can drop, break that low, we can't get another pattern, right? So we can then get a simple three-wave move before maybe a push back up. So I'm not gonna be too focused on the dollar yen for now. We just let this pattern play out, and then we'll ride on the next pattern itself. Okay. Gold here. There are two main possibilities of what I'm looking at for gold. First is of course a bounce back up, okay, to complete the W, X, and Y. If that's gonna happen, then of course short term we may be able to catch some buy trade here. But alternatively, it doesn't need to necessarily go back up. It can just basically finish its correction here, and this can start falling, right? So you need to be aware. I mean, if you're looking at maybe short-term buy, okay, just be aware that the long-term, bigger picture perspective is still bearish. Any buy here will be kind of a counter trend, a little bit more on the aggressive side of things. Okay, so if you're not trading, the counter trend kind of setup and such, then my suggestion is just focus on the buy. Focus on the sell. Either wait for this to come back up around here to sell, or if you kind of get a setup around the bottom here, you can look for a breakout sell trade as well. Okay, so that's on gold. Okay, that last one here is the S&P. Now S&P is definitely in the bullish trend, right? We are in the bull market right now. Okay, but I'm a little bit patient here because from my look at this, okay, we kind of almost completed wave 3, and we're expecting a little bit of a pullback here, so we'll be patient, okay, and wait for the pullback before look for buy again. Over here we can see that we are probably looking at a extended wave, right? So the white color one, you can see 1, 2, and then internally we have the orange 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete wave 3 of the bigger degree, and from there we'll then expect another pullback here before the pushback up to complete the white color wave 5. Right, so there are definitely more upside in terms of S&P. Okay, the thing is just wait for a pullback before getting involved in a buy. That will be something better. Okay, you don't want to get involved in a high price, wait for a pullback, and then only get involved in the buy. Now last one in today's video here is the Bitcoin. Okay, so I think Bitcoin in the short run, we can still see a little bit more downside towards 24,200 area. Okay, so any form of kind of correction or a pullback can give you a sell opportunity, and once price tag around like 24,000 area, that's where you want to look for a bigger move back up. Okay, so cryptocurrencies market, I think short-term downside, and then eventually after that to the upside. All right, so all the best to your trading for this week, and as usual, we'll see you guys again in the next one.